Hello, this is Crystal Racing here with the race review for the 2021 Monaco Grand Prix. Max Verstappen is your winner of what was a really quite a dull race, if I'm going to be honest. 9.5 out of 10. The only thing he did wrong all weekend was to fail to get pole position, but of course, as we all know, Leclerc's crash denied him the chance of having one more lap to get pole, so couldn't do much about that, although of course, but of course with Leclerc not starting the race, I mean he started from virtual pole and led from start to finish. Flawless, absolutely perfect, and of course with his championship rival struggling so much, he was never really under that much pressure apart from of course side due to track position, and of course Monaco, of course track position being absolutely vital at Monaco. Well, he was never going to lose this race, to be honest. Second place, Carlos Sainz, 9 out of 10. Very good performance. Nowhere close to being a full 10, of course, because he was outpaced by Leclerc all weekend. But having said that, though, he was very consistent with his pace, and he took full advantage of Bottas's issues. And what more can I say, really? Another strong performance by Carlos Sainz, and once again, he's proving why Ferrari signed him. Very, very good performance. But of course, I mean, if he keeps this up, I think things are going to stop. The tensions between him and Leclerc is going to start to rise up because, of course, Sainz is very capable when he's given a chance, I will say. Third place, Lando Norris, 9.5 out of 10. Destroyed Ricciardo today. Absolutely, by far the biggest margin I've seen between the pair of them all season long. You know, they said Ricciardo was going to get used to the car, but Norris is really turning the screw in. Very impressive. 9.5 out of 10. Qualified in fourth. Not fourth, fifth, I think. But of course, due to Bottas and Leclerc issues, got up to third. Held off Perez at the checkered flag. Very, very impressive once again by Norris. And I've got to say it. I know he gets a lot of stick for his sort of social media following, but the guy is beginning to show a bit of potential world champion quality at this point. Fourth place, Sergio Perez, 8.5 out of 10. Terrible qualifying once again, but in the race, him and his team made the strategy work, jumped ahead of about 4 cars. Got ahead of the whole Vettel, Gasly, Hamilton, Stroll gaggle. And I have to say, it did well to close Norris down, but it's a shame that his qualifying needs to improve. Could have well have been a Red Bull 1-2 finish if he did better in qualifying yesterday. Fifth place, and my driver of the day, Sebastian Vettel, 10 out of 10. Made the strategy work so well, pitted quite early, but got ahead, well, not early, but, well, a lot earlier than Stroll, I mean, sorry, but he did the overcut on Hamilton and Gasly and made it work perfectly. The way he out-accelerated Gasly up the hill was just fantastic. It was just sublime, and I've got to say, the old Vettel, the glimpses of the old Vettel is there. Very, very happy for him, and Aston Martin, who I think are in 5th place in the championship now. 6th place, Pierre Gasly, 9.5 out of 10. Once again, doing everything I know he's capable of doing. Destroyed Tsunoda again, but at this point, it's kind of a Captain Obvious moment, really. Just Gasly is just destroying Tsunoda. Tsunoda is absolutely getting destroyed. He just cannot live with Pierre at all. And what more is there to say? It's very clear who is winning the teammate battle, AlphaTauri. 7th place, Lewis Hamilton, 4 out of 10. An awful performance. Amazingly, now usually he probably would get rejected today, but of course there's a driver much further down the field who is getting that reward, and I'll explain why later. But Hamilton, for whatever reason, could never get the tyres to work properly all weekend long. I think he did get the fastest lap, but by that point it was far too late to salvage any real good result. And of course he deservedly loses the championship lead to Max Verstappen, who of course becomes the first driver since Kimi Raikkonen, who is not a driver who drives for Mercedes or is not Sebastian Vettel, to lead the Drivers' Championship. That is now, what's it, 8 years ago since, of course, the 2013 Australian Grand Prix, where Kimi Raikkonen was the winner of the first race of that year. 8th place, Lance Stroll, 8 out of 10. This is not a particularly great Lance Stroll track, but this weekend he did pretty as well as he could. And I have to say, he was heavily outpaced by Vettel. He did make his strategy work. You know, went in very deep into the race, pitted with only 12 laps to go, and got ahead of Ocon. Built over a 20-second gap to make sure that he could come out straight in front of Ocon, who was never any threat. And I have to say, yeah, very good performance from Stroll, although he did vote again to top 10 qualifying. 9th place, Esteban Ocon, 9 out of 10. Once again outperforming that Alpine. Once again battering Alonso over the head. There's not much to say really. Very, very impressive by Ocon. Although of course he was struggling for pace later on, but did well to hold off Giovinazzi. 10th place, Giovinazzi, 8.5 out of 10. Going to Q3, getting Kiss and Alfa Romeo's first Q3 of the season. Although of course Alfa did cost Giovinazzi his place ahead of Ocon. Should have been P9, but nevertheless a very impressive performance from the Italian. Although Kimi did close down on him towards the end of the race, so yeah, not his race. Well, I'm not. Well, to be honest, I'm not. Well, but he was much faster than Kimi. But I think because of course Giovinazzi got held up by Ocon. But yeah, P11, Kimi Raikkonen, 7 out of 10. Over 2 tenths slower than Giovinazzi in qualifying again. Race pace early on was really bad. Was falling away from Stroll, although of course he was trying to make the tyres last. But as it was, you know, we only needed one more car to drop out, but it didn't happen. So you know, just the luck just didn't roll for Kimi at all this weekend. P12, Daniel Ricciardo, 3 out of 10, and my reject of the day. What in the living name was that? What in the living name was that performance? Your teammate gets on the podium and you fail to score points. Oh my god, Daniel, seriously. Like, I know you're struggling to get used to that McLaren, but this is laughable. Like, how far off the... Like, it can't be that hard of a car to drive, can it? Surely not. What is this? This is Alex Albon levels of mediocrity right here. I'm absolutely speechless, honestly, Ricciardo. Like, I know when you first joined Renault 2 years ago you struggled, but you didn't struggle this much. This is embarrassing. This is just frightening, man. And, you know, I know we were slightly unlucky to come out behind Kimi when he did his pit stop, but, I mean, he was behind Kimi before his pit stop anyway. He was behind Kimi the whole race. And Kimi's race pace, just like his qualifying pace, was pretty bad as well. Like, Kimi Raikkonen had the most bang average weekend before I say anything else. This was not a Kimi Raikkonen overperformance or anything like that. This was Daniel Ricciardo being absolutely awful. I can't believe this. He's under serious pressure now, and of course, considering he's getting paid twice as much money as Lando Norris, I mean, at this point, Daniel Ricciardo is going to have to really put his finger out, because that was just abysmal. I don't know what did he have a problem with his car? I'd like someone to tell me, because that was seriously slow. I really hope for his sake there was something wrong with that McLaren, because, I mean, last time out he did beat Norris at Spain, but for some weak reason he just couldn't get to grips with McLaren around Monaco. 13th place, Fernando Alonso, 5 out of 10. Got knocked out in Q1 and frankly never looked like he was going to ever push for points. And just, you know, yeah, he got ahead of both Williamses, but I mean, it's Williams, for goodness sake, that's not an achievement. Just again, another bad performance. Just for Alonso, mate, it's almost like, I mean, if he doesn't pick his form up, I'm going to start saying that he should stay in retirement, because this is just miserably bad, especially with how well Ocon's been driving so far this season. P14, George Russell, 8 out of 10, going to Q2, drove his standard race, nothing more to say. P15, Latifi finished 2 seconds behind Russell, 7.5 out of 10. Got out qualified by Russell, same story, don't really care. P16, Yuki Tsunoda, 3 out of 10. Just simply outclassed by Gasly in every department once again. And although, of course, AlphaTauri did make him go on a very long stint. I think he did his pit stop with only 10 stop laps to go. Frankly, they were just hoping for a safety car with Tsunoda because, let's be honest, Tsunoda is seriously... He should be doing a second year of Formula 2, to be honest. He's just not cut out for Formula 1 at the moment. I have to say, if this carries on, I think a few races out of that seat and letting Alex Albon drive a bit might do him some good. Because right now, he is just overdriving that car. Yes, I mean, look, he's half a second slower than Gasly on his fastest laps. I mean, of course, for Tsunoda, I think progress would be getting within 3/10 of Gasly, but he's just not feeling it at the moment. He just doesn't seem to have a handle on that car at all. And, you know, as much as he likes to sit there and think he's not getting the same car as Gasly, I mean, I think he needs a lot of work to be done with him, to be honest. He just doesn't seem to have that racecraft, that ability to manage a car over race distance. Although, I mean, having said that, though, last year in Formula 2, he did get 5 pole positions. So, I mean, he's just simply not translating his Formula 2 speed into any F1 speed at all. I mean, I think part of his struggles are psychological at the moment. Hence why I gave rejects to the data Ricciardo instead of Tsunoda, because I just know Tsunoda's not up to it right now. 17th place, and for once, not finishing in last place, it is Nikita Mazepin. I know some people like to call him Mazepin, but that's a bit too immature for me. 6 out of 10. Faster than Mick all weekend, although I will say, though, Mick Schumacher did beat him off the line. Of course, it was only because Mick Schumacher then suffered some sort of problem that Mazepin jumped ahead. No spins, no crashes, didn't hold anyone up all weekend long. What can I say? Very good weekend. I mean, I'm almost tempted to give him a 7, but really, though, I kind of get the feeling his teammate was just simply awful, though. Mick Schumacher... Now, I know this might seem a bit generous, but actually, I'll give him 4 out of 10 because this weekend was so below Mick Schumacher's usual standards. Yeah, Mick Schumacher just for some reason couldn't keep his car within the barriers very well. Whacked his rear right tyre in practice on Thursday, I beg your pardon. Then he had a massive colossal crash in FP3. Meaning that he could not partake in qualifying, and then of course started last. Did make a good stop, but then dropped behind Mazepin, and frankly, this was a weekend to forget for young Mick, but I'm sure he'll be back. First to retirees, Valtteri Bottas, 8 out of 10, looked good for a podium finish, but of course that horrendous pit stop by Mercedes when he couldn't get one of his front tyres off, meaning that he had to retire because the wheel just got jammed, and frankly that was just a horrific piece of bad luck. Psychologically he needs to go to another team, but frankly though, the problem is though, I'm not sure which particularly decent midfield team wants him. I mean, Alpine are probably going to stay with Alonso next year. Ricciardo is probably going to stay at McLaren despite both of them struggling really badly right now. Cannot see Aston Martin dropping Vettel. He's obviously not going to AlphaTauri, meaning that there's only really Alfa Romeo and Williams available, but does he really want to go from a top team to Alfa Romeo and Williams? That's just... I really feel sorry for Valtteri Bottas at this point. You know, he beat Lewis. He had been on top of Lewis Hamilton all weekend long, and his car went kapung. So, you know, well, not kapung, but the tyre just couldn't come off. So, man, I really feel terrible for Valtteri. I cannot believe it, man. That guy's psyche is going down the window. As much as I like to make fun out of him, the guy has no luck anymore. And last but not least, the guy was supposed to start on pole position, but of course, couldn't start due to a gearbox defect. I think was caught. I'm not sure on this, but I do believe it was caused by his crash in qualifying. It is, of course, Charles Leclerc, who I will give 5 out of 10 because Yeah, you know, he got pole position, but then he crashed into the barriers in qualifying. Now, whether the gearbox issue caused this, was caused by that crash, I don't know, but I mean, the thing is, though, I've got to knock quite a few points off for Charles Leclerc due to the fact he crashed in qualifying, which, I mean, I know some would said, oh, well, that he did it on purpose so he could guarantee pole position being, you know, only 30 seconds ago. But the thing is, though, I do think that the crash caused the gearbox issue, meaning that he couldn't start the race. Now, why did Ferrari decide? I mean, the thing is, though, Ferrari probably should have taken a penalty and replaced the gearbox, meaning he would have started P6, but I mean, I don't know what's going on Ferrari because the problem is this result. This result is costing them points in terms of being able to finish P3 in the championship. This could the points they lost today with Leclerc could well make the difference between them finishing P3 and P4 in the constructors championship. How much do they really care about that? I don't know. But if you enjoyed this video, do all the usual stuff from over here at Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next time.